your hands together to welcome Sunil Gavaskar, the man who is the little master of the Indian cricket.
I am Simran Sokhi, student class 9 IGCSE.
And I am Rohan Rangarajan, Vice Captain and Opening Batsman of the Under-16 Singapore National Cricket Team.
It is our proud privilege to welcome one and all to this special edition of the GIIS Leadership Lecture Series.
First and foremost, we extend a splendiferous welcome to Mr. Sunil Gavaskar, sportsman par excellence and chairman of DBS Singapore Slammers. And we also invite our panelists for the discussion today. We call upon Master Janak, captain of the Under-16 Singapore National Cricket Team, Aditya Rohan Mathur, who are both members of the school cricket team, and Nishan Mittal, former captain of the school Under-14 boys cricket.
Thank you for the very warm welcome that you've given me. And thank you also for the introduction. Because believe me, and I've said this before, but I like to say it considering the fact that I'm retired now for almost 27 years or so, that I just want to say what a terrific opportunity this is for me to interact with the future generation. Because the future is in your hands. You are the whole overriding philosophy that I would urge all of you all to embrace is the one of peace. Because there's nothing like peace, because it's in peace that you can do what you have to do, you can progress the best. When there is strife, when there is more capable than the other person, how I can control the strike and make sure he does not get out. It's in my interest as well to make sure he doesn't get out, because that means I can bat and get runs. I can get to 100, 150, 200, maybe more. Because if batsmen are out at the other end, the whole team is out. And therefore, I have to look after him. So how I farm the strike, as they call it in cricket, how the 3 Ds come into play very much. And I believe in the 3 Ds. And 3 Ds, not just for cricket, but in all walks of life, work very well. Determination, dedication, discipline.
School, and we have lots of our colleagues joining us. If I can point out correctly, on the top right corner on the video conference, we have the students from GIIS Tokyo. Please raise your hands. Students from GIIS Tokyo. Oh, there you go. And at bottom, the middle screen is from the GIIS Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur. Hi guys, can you see us? Very good.
Good morning, sir. I'm Smith from the Queenstown campus, and my question is that, sir, what was your reaction when you received your first bat from your parents?
I couldn't actually be able to describe the joy I felt when I first got a bat from my father. The best part about the bat was if I thought that I had been given out wrongly, I would tuck the bat in my shoulder and under my shoulder and walk off.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So if I may say, back then, I think your mother would be the one who broke the stereotype of having something broken around the house and not chasing their kid with the bat.
I think so, yes.
So,
Sir, I'm curious to know, when did you give your son his first cricket bat? And as a parent, how do you support him, and does your formidable reputation inspire him or intimidate him?
He was also, actually in Rohan's case, and I've got to say your parents have a good choice in names. In Rohan's case, he was more a bowler. His big hero was Jeff Thompson of Australia, who, by the way, is the fastest bowler that I have played. And
Good morning, sir. I am Karthik Iyer from Class 9 IGB. Sir, your first book, Sunny Days, not only gives us the rich history of Indian cricket, but also contains some interesting anecdotes that tells us about your initiation into cricket. Sir, could you please share with us one such anecdote that you particularly remember?
when I came back from this tour of the West Indies, there was nothing really on the table for me to do. So I had to pretend and show everybody else around, like people sitting in front of me, that I was working. So I started jotting down my experiences, my memories of the tour, etc. And that's how the book came about, in the sense that a journalist friend who's no more, he came and he said, what are you doing? And I said, look, I'm just writing something. So he said, can I have a look? And that's how the book came about. But you asked for an anecdote in that, and I think the one anecdote that I remember is Dilip Sardesai, Jen's room, so that's why you couldn't find me. But I'm down in the lobby, why don't you come down? So Salim Durrani again gets up, puts on a tie, shirt, jacket, blazer, to try and make an impression, comes down, again looks around, and there's nobody. So he's getting now frustrated, what has happened second time around. And then just behind, there was a pillar there. From behind the pillar, Dilip Sardesai pokes his head and says, you want a gift? You want a gift? So there was actually nobody giving him a gift. But those were the kind of things that you had to do actually to entertain yourself on off days, on non-match days. Because there was no television, there was no opportunity to go to see a movie or cinema theater or something like that. It was.
Okay. So my question is, as the world's greatest opening batsman, you have set many records. So according to you, what role does a record setting play in a sportsman's life?
Sir, we feel inspired time and again with your contribution to the Indian national team at moments of crisis. Every Indian will recount the time when India required a big win to secure a home semi-final, and how you hit a whopping 103 not out of 88 balls against New Zealand with a very high fever. We salute the zeal and dedication in you.
Back then, Sunil Gavaskar was a name that made all the bowlers fret as they struggled to get him out on the pitch. They sweated and fretted, but the little master worked his magic on the pitch. His trademark straight drives left the bowlers gaping hopelessly. The next question is aimed at one of the most technically sound batsmen the world has ever seen.
Is on the off stump, short of a length or a good length, is around the off stump. That's where they don't know whether to play it or leave it. And that is what you try and do as a bowler as well. So there are different requirements. For limited overs cricket, you don't have the time. You've got to try and play your shots, try and play all across the ground. So these are things that come to you with experience. And it's something that, as you play more, as you listen to your coaches, as you listen to your team captain, as you grow in a team, that is how you will get better. The important thing is
So on that note of adjusting to bowlers and bowling pitches, Shreyas Ravi of Class 10A from the Kuala Lumpur campus would like to know, is there any particular bowler who proved more of a challenge to you than the others?
The thing is, Shreyas, I just want to say that if I have to take credit for scoring more than 10,000 runs in Test cricket, I've got to say every bowler gave me problems. Because otherwise, some people tend to think, bowling was easy, so he scored 10,000 runs. So I've got to say that, but I think amongst the fast bowlers, it was Andy Roberts. He was the one who I thought was the best fast bowler that I played. For the simple reason that it wasn't just with the new ball, when bowlers are supposed to bowl well, but...
On behalf of GIIS Tokyo, and my question is that what were the toughest moments of your life as a cricketer, and which moments do you relish the most as a sports person?
And then realizing the joy it would have given to millions of cricket lovers back home in India, I think that remains the greatest moment of my life, not just of my career. It remains the greatest moment of my life. And as I said, every time you've beaten another team, and particularly when you're representing your country, I think that's a moment to cherish. That's a moment to remember. It's a moment to savor, and that's happened to me. And every time India has lost, those are the moments that you don't want to remember. Every time, and I think it becomes even more difficult when India has lost when they could have saved the match. Sometimes.
We're also extremely delighted from a remote location in Pune. We have the honor of having Mr. Chandu Bode also join us on the VC. Please give a big round of applause. I think we can't see him, but I'm going to just call him on his mobile, and maybe we'll have one or two words from him. Just a moment, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are live on the. You are live on the video conference, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Gavaskar also here, and we are listening to you live on the video conference.
Good morning to you, Sunil.
Yes, sir.
I'm very happy that great moment to the school boys, and your presence is a great inspiration. And I'm happy that you are giving them such a tremendous point to be a great help to them in future. And I'm really very happy that you visited our school.
Yes, thank you, sir. We got your message, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chandu sir was one of the greatest batsmen that India had produced. I remember sitting in the North Stand and watching him bat. And many years later, when I had the good fortune to be able to interact with him, I told him a little habit that he had. He said he didn't realize that he had that habit. He used to walk in to bat. Those were the pre-helmet days, of course. He used to walk in to bat bareheaded. And even, with that shock of, thick hair, even now he's fortunate to have a shock of thick hair. And he would go into bat, and maybe of the first ball or maybe an over later, if he got a single, when he got off the mark, as they say in batting, immediately after he got off the mark, he would signal to the dressing room to send his cap. And when I said to him, I remember you doing it, Chandu sir said he doesn't remember that used to happen. But, as somebody who followed his cricket, I remember that very, very clearly, that he would walk into bat without a cap. And after scoring his first run, then he would signal for the cap to be brought in. And then he scored this 100 against Wesley Hall and Charlie Griffith at the Brabant Stadium, when the first couple of wickets had fallen for nothing. And the ball was doing everything. Those were the days when the Brabant Stadium wicket was hard and bouncy, pretty much like the wickets you get in Australia and South Africa. And Wes Hall and Charlie Griffith. Now, Wes Hall's run-up was starting from near the side screen. It was, in fact, I remember I played when...
This has been a thoroughly informative and exciting interaction with Mr. Gavaskar today. Let us all acknowledge his generosity and humor and great style with a huge round of applause.
We request on stage Mr. Kamal Gupta, Chief Operating Officer, Global Schools Foundation, to present a token of our affection and gratitude to Mr. Sunil Gavaskar.